All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video after 49ers wrapped up practice on a Wednesday and media availability. We had a chance to go in the locker room and talk to the players today. Of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. 49er football all season long on the Krug Show is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chats, season-long leagues, and of course, Sleeper Picks. Can't forget Sleeper Picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, we're here outside of Levi's. They're power washing. I got trains going by. I got traffic. I mean, all kinds of things going on. But welcome to the Wednesday wrap-up of everything that happened down here in Ninerland. Why don't we start with the morning report? Because I woke up this morning to Jeremy Fowler and Dan Graziano of ESPN reporting that the Niners believe they consider Trey Hendrickson an ideal fit for their defensive scheme. The Niners have been, quote, scanning the trade market for pass rushers. If the Bengals would trade Hendrickson for, quote, reasonable compensation, the Niners are interested. So then the question is, what's reasonable compensation? I would say reasonable compensation is probably a second-round draft choice. A first is going to be a non-starter for the Niners. A third is going to be a non-starter for the Bengals. So I think it's pretty clear. It's a second-round draft choice for Trey Hendrickson. Do the Niners want to trade that? They probably would. But the question is, this is a guy who's a free agent at the end of the year. I'm sure they would like to sign him to an extension. I'm sure they don't want to trade their second-round draft choice for a handful of games of Trey Hendrickson, no matter how badly they need him. Cincinnati doesn't intend to trade Hendrickson. That's their public stance as of this moment. They just traded for Joe Flacco, and they're trying to make a go of it this year. So they have Pittsburgh, the Jets, and the Bears before the bye week, and before the trade deadline, I should say, on November the 4th. So who knows? If they lose those games, they'll probably lose to Pittsburgh. They'll probably lose to the Bears. They probably beat the Jets. So they probably go 1-2 in that stretch. Will they sell? Will they not sell? We'll find out. I think they're going to sell. Their stance is that they're not, but it's a bad organization. Hendrickson's going away at the end of the year. They're going to get something for him. And my guess is he'll be available for a second-round pick in the first couple days of November. The Niners also, according to Fowler and Graziano, are checking in on Rashawn Gary and Kingsley Enagbare from Green Bay, Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb from Miami, Arden Key from Tennessee, who's got a thigh contusion or a quad that he's battling right now, and Will McDonald IV and Jermaine Johnson of the Jets. So they even speculated the Niners might show interest in Quincy Williams, the Jets linebacker, or maybe Christian Harris, the Houston Texans linebacker. That will be something to watch for sure. All right, Niners getting ready to take on the Falcons. It will be the 83rd meeting of Niners-Falcons on Sunday Night Football at Levi's on Sunday night. Former division rivals. For some of you younger fans, the Niners and Falcons used to be in the same division. Niners lead the all-time series 48-33 with one tie. They're 29-12 at home against the Falcons. Niners are actually a 2-point favorite. Despite the Falcons looking really good against Buffalo, Niners are a 2-point favorite. Over-under set at 47.5. Tarico Collinsworth on the call for NBC. Melissa Stark on the sideline. Guy Haberman and Tim Ryan will be on the KMBR call. It's going to be an interesting game for sure because Atlanta's good and they're playing good football. As far as today at practice, we talked to Kyle Shanahan. Yetur Gross-Matos with the knee remains out. Ricky Pearsall with that knee remains out. I think there's a very good chance that Ricky's not going to play in this game against Atlanta. So Kyle was asked, are you disappointed that the Pearsall thing's taking longer than you guys thought? And he said, yeah, we thought it would go a little faster. CMC didn't practice today, Veterans Rest Day, I should say. Same with Trent Williams. Also, Sky Moore with the ankle did not practice. Limited today at practice were Mac Jones, Juwan Jennings, George Kittle, Jordan Watkins, Kevin Givens, Renardo Green, CJ West, Brock Purdy, Dom Pooney, and Kalia Davis. Those guys were all limited. We did see Brock Purdy back to throwing the football, so that was good. He was throwing passes, though. Shanahan did say that Purdy is more limited than Jones. So Jones is the guy who's going to start most likely against the Falcons on Sunday. If I were the Niners, I wouldn't start Brock Purdy for a few weeks. Let that toe heal. Let the toe heal. Interestingly enough, when I was driving down here today, I heard Greg Papa and Greg Silver on KMBR, and Greg Papa was actually entertaining the idea of the possibility of the 49ers trading for Kirk Cousins at the trade deadline if Jones can't go, if Purdy can't go, if they're still winning games, if they don't want to go to Adrian Martinez. And then in Greg's theory or thought process that maybe the Niners would then go with Kirk Cousins the rest of the way, and then at the end of the year you've got Cousins under contract, you got Mac Jones under contract for another year, you got Brock Purdy under contract, and you can decide then which of those quarterbacks you want to keep, which of those quarterbacks you want to trade. It's an interesting concept. The Falcons don't look like they're going back to Cousins. They're going with Michael Penix. Cousins and Shanahan have had this, love affair for one another for a long time. The Niners may need a quarterback if Jones and Purdy are too banged up to get them to the finish line. It's an interesting thought. It's not, it makes you want to kind of think about it for a second and digest it. But if the Niners win games and they're still in the playoff race, and they're going to be, they're 4-2, and their quarterbacks go down, do they want to hand the keys to the team to Adrian Martinez for the year, or do they want to go get a veteran quarterback? Would they have enough cap room to go get a guy like Kirk Cousins? And then, for content creation, it would be amazing. We could do polls every day. We could do streams every night. We could do radio shows every day. Cousins, Purdy, Mac Jones, who stays, who goes, who do you want, this guy, that guy. We could play with that for days. So thank you, Greg Papa, for throwing that out into the ether. And then I just repeated it on the on this 49er recap. But Greg's the voice of the team. Greg's a credible voice. And it was in the midst of a conversation that they were having about what if the Niners keep winning but the quarterbacks get hurt? Do you go with Adrian Martinez? And it's like, well, maybe. Or maybe you try to get Kirk Cousins away from the Falcons. I don't know. I'm not sure what the Falcons are going to do with Kirk Cousins. But it is interesting, and it's that time of the year between now and the trade deadline to kind of throw all these ideas around. Shanahan talked about Fred Warner's surgery, said it went very well. There's no timetable for his return. So all this talk about 3 months, 4 months, no. Forget all that. No timetable for Fred's return. Interestingly, I talked to Jordan Watkins at his locker, and he's coming back this week. And I think he's going to be given an opportunity to take Sky Moore's job immediately as the primary punt returner. And I watched Watkins catch punts. And I'll tell you this, I think Jordan Watkins is going to make an impact. I really do. He's got speed, he's got hands, he's got strength. He played in a good conference. He's ready to roll. He's not intimidated by the physicality of the NFL. I think he can help them on special teams. I think he can help them from scrimmage. I really like Jordan Watkins, and I think Watkins is going to do some good things. Shanahan alluded to the fact that Nick Martin may be activated and play for the first time. That's exciting. Nick Martin is a great young player who's going to be really good. We talked to Tatum Bethune today, and Bethune had a hell of a game. And for people who are saying, oh, Bethune this, Bethune that, pump the brakes on the criticism for this kid. He had 10 tackles last week. He's got a lot of talent. He's going to be wearing the green dot. It's not going to be D. Winters. It's going to be Tatum Bethune. What else? Oh, I saw Connor Colby's stats today for the season. And, they're not as bad as you think. 216 pass block snaps, 3 sacks allowed, 17 pressures allowed, that's just a lot of pressures, 5 quarterback hits. But his pass block efficiency grade from PFF is 95.4. His pass block grade overall was 37.5, which is not very good. His run block grade was a little bit better at 60.7. But that's interesting. He's got a very high pass block efficiency grade from PFF, but not a high pass block grade overall. Interesting to me. Also, it's never too early to look ahead to the draft. Jordan Reed on ESPN posted his mock draft on ESPN.com today, and they have the Niners picking 26th based on the current standings. And they have the Niners taking Alabama tackle Caden Proctor. And he says there's mixed opinions on Proctor. He came into the season with round 1 hype, but had a disastrous start to the campaign against FSU. His play has rebounded. Some scouts are still hesitant to buy into the early round hype surrounding the 6'7", 366-pound offensive tackle. Says if he continues to play as well as he has over the next few weeks, or over the past few weeks, and shows consistency, he could go on day 1. The 49ers have a long-term need at offensive tackle with Trent Williams turning 38 next summer, so Proctor makes a lot of sense. So I'll say this, Caden Proctor is like the 3rd or 4th player on Bruce Feldman's freaks list. So he's not just a big body, he's a big body and a great athlete. So if you get a chance to catch Alabama, check out Proctor, because he is going to be a first-round pick, and the Niners are going tackle most likely in the first round, and they very easily could be picking Caden Proctor in 2026. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sleeper for sponsoring this video. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.